Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion today. And my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm thrilled to be here. What I would like to chat about today, especially kind of fitting for the spring, I suppose, but in life in general, is to allow ourselves time for transitions. And of course, we do have a tendency, at least in the States, and I love my country, to zip around like gerbils on crack. We just do. We zip, zip, zip around, and it's also rewarded, which can be difficult enough when things are kind of just rolling along. But when there are transitions, we just really need to extend ourselves time and compassion to deal with the transitions, and they can be positive. Usually, they are positive. And I'm thinking, again, it makes sense to have this chat in the spring because when I think of spring, at least I think of change in seasons even. Of course, it's April in academia, which tends to be pretty nuts, and there are transitions happening all around us because in academia, they're moving out, then they're moving, they're moving out, then they're moving back in the fall, which means they're moving back home. If they're first years, that's a big transition to go back to mom and dad or dad and dad and whomever when you've been on the freedom trail, and now you have to kind of, say where you're going and do that whole thing all over again and take out the garbage, right? And and that's true for juniors and seniors in different ways. They might be trying to get an apartment for the summer and break free completely. Then we've got seniors graduating, and that is a gigantic transition. There are just transitions everywhere we look. So some of these are obviously smaller than other ones. And then we've got change in family dynamics. I mean, in our own family with our fabulous five, that's what I call our kids, the Fab Five. We had our youngest son get married in December and without a lot of notice, which was very exciting and different and beautiful. And then our oldest son is getting married in June. And it's all good. I mean, we love our new daughters. We absolutely do. And it's still different. It's just different. Then there's transitions with change in holiday plans, that those will be coming soon. Change in just now there's more siblings. And so again, it's all good and cool and festive, right now with all the celebration going on. And just, people need time for transition. It's just how it is. And then often, not always, after weddings, there may be a new child, and that is so exciting. Definitely for those of us that really, really want those grandkids. And on the side of the young parent, and young couples having their first child, that's a huge transition. Obviously, wonderful. It's a huge transition. And sometimes you'll hear new parents, after they may be starting to become seasoned after just a couple years, they'll talk about, the BK before kids and AK after kids because of what a difference it is. You might have been kind of used to your going out for dinner here and there and doing that and this and having, not having to be so kind of housebound for a little while. And that is a gigantic transition, even though it's wonderful. And the thing is, the main thing is to really stop, and if it is the kids thing, sit and talk about ways to work through it and just make sure that everybody's in the best place to keep themselves filled up, really filled up at a time when that can be really tough with middle of the night crying and breastfeeding, bottle feeding, whatever support goes around that. And um, just all of it, just adjusting to a new little creature in the house. Okay, so in addition to, extending ourselves compassion, loving kindness with giving ourselves time, there are a couple of other things we can do to help ourselves, sort of deal with and manage transitions. And one of them is to let go of expectations. I mean, think about this, and I will tell you, there is one big positive to growing up with two alcoholic parents because, and I mean this sincerely, is that I grew up not having expectations, and I'm still like that as a grown up, and I just it's half full all the time, most of the time because I just don't have that. But if you do have expectations, let go of them. It's good to like to let go of them, period, for the most part. But when you're in you're healing from having a baby, you're healing from going through a breakup, whether that's a dating situation or a marriage or just long-term relationship, that needs a lot of time, a lot of, I'm thinking hot baths, chocolate covered strawberries, walks in the woods with your best friend. That just takes a lot of time. And it's important to give ourselves that because we do these shoulds and ought tos, and that just beats us up with a spiked club when we're already down. That's just not necessary. Okay, so then the third one, so far we have give ourselves time because that is being loving and kind and compassionate to ourselves. Let go of expectations. Nobody etched it in rock anywhere that you have exactly, 3.5 days to get over a C-section. You have exactly 3.5 days to get over having your heart broken in a relationship, or 3.5 weeks, or whatever. It's nobody's business how you get over it or how long it takes you. That is just it. And so the other one, and then the third one is let go of social comparison, which is a really good, strategy if for adopting or creating, designing, developing a lifestyle of happiness anyway, because social comparison is a straight road to sad. We're comparing ourselves with other people. Oh, well, they got over it quickly. What's the matter with me? It took me 3 extra weeks to get over the stitches. What happened with me that it's taking me 4 months and I'm still not over that guy or that woman or whatever. Who cares? When we don't compare to other people in general, which is really hard these days with social media because it's 24/7 of people, in make pretend land. They don't put pictures of themselves up there in sweatpants with a zit on their forehead. It's all everybody's in a relationship and there's all these fancy parties and they got in this, they got that job, they got into that grad school, they're traveling. They just bought the new house. They just got the new car. Blah 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 blah. On and on it goes. So it's a good idea in general for our level of happiness to let go of social comparison anyway. Though, if you're going through a transition and you're feeling vulnerable, especially, even if it's a good transition, right? The baby thing, you can just feel sleep deprived, even though you're happy, and full of joy with this child, sleep deprived, bumping into things because you're so tired, maybe not knowing your own name sometimes. That's still a different kind of vulnerability. And you don't need people hurrying you along to heal. Same thing with the relationship and all the other things we talked about, or hustling you along with your, moving back from college, and you got to be home for the summer after you've been on the freedom trail for 4 years. It is no one's freaking business. So I guess what we want to do is just really, there's like a transition stopwatch. Find the biggest body of water near your home and throw it in there. And the transition police can take a hike too, because nobody needs their judgment in general. Do what you need to do for you to get through, whether it's a positive transition or it's just you're being redirected from something that's not so positive or whatever. You are in charge of how long it takes you and how you heal and how you just adjust. It might not be a situation of healing, like it's all good stuff, but you just need to get your bearings again, and no one is in charge of that but you. That's it. The end. All right, excellent. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.